Hey, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Vanessa and I love to talk about books. Today I'm going to be doing my July TBR. I didn't want to make this month too ambitious because June I had a little bit of a reading slump and I felt like I had set myself so many goals to read so many books in that month that it just made me fall into a slump even more, if that makes sense, because the expectation was too high. So this month I still picked out 7 books, but they are quite small books, so I think it's quite realistic that I'd get through them quite easy in this month. And there is still a few books from June that I still want to pick up, like The Starless Sea. If you stick around to the end of the video, I do have a little announcement to make about changes to the channel as well. So without further ado, let's see what I'm reading in the summery month of July. So the first book that I plan to get round to reading is Frostheart. This is a middle grade, which is a debut author of a novel, but honestly the amount of detail that is in this book is just amazing. I'm so looking forward to getting around to reading it. The art is so cute. Its attention to detail is just absolutely insane. It is illustrated as well, but there is so many pages in this, it looks like this is going to be a chunky read for a middle grade. This is about a main character who is a little boy and he lives in a snowy world and he's waiting for his missing parents, and he has a grumpy yeti for company. The main character realises that he has magical powers and he gets on a sleigh with a little team of friends and they go and help people and go on an adventure. Apparently it's a book that focuses very much on the values of family and friendship, which is something that I'm really enjoying from middle grade. I actually went on my NetGalley preferences and removed adult fiction altogether and replaced it with middle grade because I just feel like this is what I'm enjoying more at the moment. So I'm looking forward to getting around into more middle grade, but this will be one that is relatively new to me. I haven't read a lot of it other than if you count the Percy Jackson series and some Jacqueline Wilson books. I think that is the majority of what my middle grade is based on, so I'm looking forward to getting around to reading this. Oh, it is also signed. I just so happened to pick a signed copy up. I didn't intentionally get it because it was signed, but this was what Waterstones had and it was buy one get one half price, which was an absolute bargain. The next book is actually a reread. I've already read this, but when I read it the first time round I didn't particularly like it, but that was a lot of years ago. That was about 6 years ago, so I feel like now I maybe might feel a bit differently about it, and that is Shadow and Bone, which is the first book in the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I don't necessarily know what it was about this that I didn't like the first time round. I don't know if it was maybe the characters, or I didn't really get into loving the magical system and the world, but I do really want to read Six of Crows, and I know you don't need to read this series to read Six of Crows, but it's a better experience to have read it. So I'm going to reread it because I also own book 2 and I feel like it's just a waste of having book 2 if I'm not actually going to read it. So I had to come to a decision of either getting rid of these books completely or giving them another try. So I've decided that I'm going to give them another try because it's really short and I feel like I can read this in a day or two. I don't own book 3 and I know a lot of people are very disappointed in this series when it comes to book 3, but I want to give it another chance because I own it and it'll just not take any time at all really. So it's taken all of my energy not to make this third book just my absolute go-to this month, because I have just finished the Percy Jackson series and absolutely loved it. My latest video was a review of the Percy Jackson series and I'd said in that one that it's taken all my energy not to just read every single Rick Riordan book for the month of July. I really want to read a little bit more diverse and to extend the length of time that I have over excitement of the Percy Jackson books. But I will be reading or allowing myself to read book 1 in the Heroes of Olympus series, which is the first spin-off set in the Percy Jackson world, and that is The Lost Hero. This book introduces 3 new main characters, one of them being Jason, but I believe we have multiple perspectives in this book. So we have Piper, Leo and Jason, and the Percy Jackson books were only written from one perspective, so I'm very interested to see what Rick Riordan does with a multiple perspective story. These are a lot longer than the Percy Jackson books, which I absolutely love. I don't really know too much about them because I loved just going in not knowing and having the surprises, but it does make a reference to a missing demigod and I'm hoping so much that that's Percy, because then it's bringing him back into the storyline. So I'm excited to get around to reading this one. I'm the most excited about this book, and like I said, it's taken me everything not to just sack off the rest of all these books for July and just binge read this series, but I really want to extend my love and excitement for the Percy Jackson world. The next book is, honestly, I am so excited. My friend Rebecca, my best friend, bought me this recently to cheer me up after I had some bad news. I didn't expect it at all. She must have my Amazon wishlist bookmarked like I have hers bookmarked, and this turned up in the post, and it is my first N.K. Jemisin book ever, and that is the 100,000 Kingdoms, which is book 1 in the Inheritance trilogy. I absolutely adore this cover art. I think it looks so good. I believe this is young adult fantasy, and our main character is summoned to a city where she finds out she is one of the potential heirs of the current king, and she is thrust into a power battle with her cousins. She's also trying to find out the secrets surrounding her mother's death, so it seems like this is a multi-layered plot, and I'm so looking forward to getting around to something by N.K. Jemisin because it's something that I've wanted to do for so long, and I'm buying the 5th season with my birthday money. My birthday's next month, so hopefully next month will be filled with more N.K. Jemisin books. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am because I've heard nothing but amazing things about her books. Oh, it smells amazing. Oh, so that is book 4. Very excited. The next book that I hope to pick up I've had for quite a while, which is why I'm hoping to pick it up, and that is the Hazel Wood. This is a young adult fantasy with the sort of feeling that it's based on a fairy tale. It feels like a fairy tale retelling even though it's not. I don't know how to summarise this book other than reading the back because it seems like it's such a complicated plot that I can't actually put this into my own words, so I'm just going to read it for your enjoyment. Alice has spent most of her life on the road, always one step ahead of the strange bad luck biting at her heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a book of pitch dark fairy tales, dies alone on her isolated estate, the Hazelwood, Alice discovers how bad her luck can really get. Her own mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the supernatural world where the fairy tales are set. Alice's only clue is the message left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. To rescue her mother, Alice must venture first to the Hazelwood, then into the world where her grandmother's tale began. This sounds really good. I love fairy tales, and it seems like this is like an adult take on a fairy tale, so I'm looking forward to getting on to reading this finally. I'm really hoping that it's quite dark at the same time and it's got like a little bit spooky to it, because I feel like I've not read that kind of book in a long time, but I love the sprayed edges. I just wish all books had sprayed edges. It would make your bookshelves look so colourful. Again, another short book that I anticipate only taking a couple of days to read, so I'm looking forward to this one. Another book which I'm super looking forward to getting around to reading, I don't know which one I actually want to read the most if I'm honest, is Graceland. I've wanted this book for the longest time. I've wanted it for years and it's just been sat on my Amazon wishlist, and I did actually find this in the first second-hand bookstore that I visited after lockdown ended, and I just felt like this book was there waiting for me. This is another fantasy adventure that I'm so excited for, and again the cover looks absolutely amazing. The cover online when you're looking at this picture doesn't look that great, but when you have it in your hands it just looks so powerful. It's like a badass girl with a sword and it just looks like, oh, it's so good. It reminds me a little bit of Skyrim actually. So this is a world where people are born with skills, a specific skill set, and our main character is born with exceptional skills in the art of killing. This makes her feared by everyone. No one wants to be her friend that's her age because of it, and she's even feared by the court in her world. That is until she's given the chance to find out what happens to the king's missing father, who they suspect has been kidnapped, and she sees this as a way of changing her perception about herself. So I'm really excited about this one. This is the kind of novel that I think I've been really needing to read, something that's just about like a kick-ass female character in a fantasy world. So I'm super looking forward to this one, and I might have a little bit more to say about this one towards the end of the video. And the last book that I'm hoping to get round to reading, which again it was a purchase last month if you've seen my haul video, this was also on the offer with Frostheart, which is why I got it, and that is the Deathless Kills, which is in the most stunning cover that I've ever seen. Honestly, it's like a pair of grandma's curtains. Love that for me. I don't know why, but I find this book so scary to look at. The whole vibe just gives me like vampire vibes, even though there's nothing specifically like malicious on the cover. It's just like snakes and bears and a hand and flowers. I think this is the most creepiest thing that I've ever seen. This is an imagined origin story for the Brides of Dracula. In this book we have twin sisters, and they're both 17 years old. They are captured and forced to work as slaves. They start to get some hope in a fellow captor and they think that they might be falling in love with them, but then they hear about this mythical dragon, more monster than man, who accepts girls as gifts, and this becomes a threat to their existence. So there sounds like a lot to unpack in this book. That sounds like these girls have gone through so much, kidnapping slaves and the potential of being gifted to a monster. That's a lot for such a short book. And it does honestly look quite short as well. So that is the 7th book that I'm hoping to get round to reading this month. Although, I'm just going to pick them up for a second. I think this is like the smallest actual pile of pages that I've picked up to say I want to read in 1 month, which is why I think it's really highly likely that I'll get through these quite easy, because they only look like they would take like 3 or 4 days each to read. Although I do want to pick Graceland back up for a second, because I have decided that this is going to be the first book that's going to feature in a brand new series of mine. If you don't know, I've been a travel blogger for about 7 years now, and it's done really well. It's taken me a lot of places in the world. It's opened up a lot of doors for me, but I've decided that maybe I want to try and close that down because I don't necessarily enjoy the writing for it anymore. Nothing has changed for my love of travel. I still love to travel. I just don't particularly like writing about it anymore, and I feel like the YouTube platform is something that I enjoy more. Filming and sharing my actual experiences. I get to share more and give you more of an experience on here. So I have decided that I'm going to start a separate series on this channel called Books in My Suitcase, and that's going to be an attempt at starting to bring my travel blog over into my book content. So I will be going on holiday at the end of July. I don't know what I'm doing yet. It could literally just be wild camping, which I hate, so I hope it's not that. But it's basically going to just be a vlog about where I go, what I do, something about the area that I'm in and my travelling, and about the books in my suitcases. Basically a reading vlog as well. So it's sort of an attempt to merge my reading vlogs into something that's more travel based, so that I can close my travel blog down with the confidence that I'm still sharing my travel content. I really wish that I'd started this series last year, because I took some amazing trips last year. I spent 3 weeks in Japan traveling all over. I went to Paris, I went to Yorkshire, and I just had so many great trips. And the plan for this year was to go on a city break about every 4 weeks. That hasn't happened because of coronavirus, unfortunately. But I've never spent this long period at home. I'm always somewhere in the world, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you some of my future travel. So that is it from me today. I just wanted to bring you a quick TBR to show you some of the 7 books that I'm reading this month, and also to just tell you about books in my suitcase. I'm getting really hopeful for holidays now, because I've done this makeup look pretty much inspired by Malibu and hot climates. So please, please, coronavirus gods, let me go on a trip soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm so close to my end of year goal for 2020. It is ridiculous. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.